What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Radiovania, episode number 76, your nerdy public radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. We haven't done that intro in a fucking minute. How about that?
No. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Jon Parker said we should shine the bat signal, get Jim Gordon on the roof and shine the bat signal, because we're doing a mini episode. It's not going to be full-length feature pod, and we're taking a week break from the DCEU in review, which you can go listen to. We just wrapped Justice League.
Boy.
Was that
what a time?
Has it been a journey, or has it not been a journey?
It's been a journey, and turns out that movie's not even going to be canon in like a year, so we're going to have to come back to it.
Yeah, we're going to re-review it. I can't believe that I'm going to be watching Justice League twice in the span of a year.
Yeah, you're going to be watching a 4-hour version, though.
Hell yeah. Well, speaking of Justice League's 4-hour cut, we got news for you. The reason why we decided to do this is because not only are we doing our DC review show, but we're also just fans of, comics and movies and everything in general. And so this episode is going to be chronicling all the news and announcements from DC's Fandome event, which took place, what was it?
Saturday.
September 12th? Yeah, so it was Saturday. For those of you that didn't know, or first for all of you that don't know, we're Radiovania. We're a pop culture nerd podcast, and it's run by me, at Zach Ritello, and it's also run by my good friend Jon Swansong Parker, we're doing a digital show today.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say I helped run it as much as I am I'm like Kramer.
You're an internet personality.
I appreciate it.
You're an influencer, John. We all know that.
It's not what I need to be.
But yeah, so DC Fandome, before we dive into all the news and stuff, please check out our podcast to listen to the DCEU and review. It's at Radiovania on Twitter, radiovania.com, and all that jazz, and you can check all this stuff out there. But John, it's completely surface level.
And listen to our 3-hour Last of Us 2 spoiler cast.
Yeah, one of our most listened to episodes, shockingly, because it's also one of the longest podcasts we've ever done, is episode 75, which was The Last of Us review.
Yeah.
Okay, so John, completely surface level opinions on the event. It should be noted that neither one of us watched the entire live stream. I came in late, and you watched it after it was over.
Yeah, I had to work, so I didn't sit in front of my computer all day like some people did and watched all the panels and all the reveals and stuff. So I just purely watched the trailers and read like review articles from like IGN and comicbook.com and stuff like that. Surface level thing though, like way better than Comic-Con at home, like much better.
I didn't even watch Comic-Con at home. Like I had no idea that was even happening.
It was so uneventful that some people have just been like, this DC has set the bar for how to do virtual Comic-Cons, going forward.
Sure.
So who knows, maybe Star Wars will do a impromptu celebration at some point. There's D23 could be like this.
I'm sure.
I think it's a really cool format. I mean, I wish I could have watched it all day, but I had to work. So,
sure.
It's cool though, man. Like in terms of the content, really cool stuff. Like there wasn't really anything that I saw that I wasn't like, I don't not like this. There's some things that I like way more than others, but pretty excited for a lot of things coming forward.
Same. Yeah, I jumped. I had to work that day too. I got home around 7:30, and at the time that I got home, they were midway through the Shazam panel. Mm-hmm. So I watched it live from Shazam all the way till the end, and it was
Fury of the Gods, baby.
Fury of the Gods, yeah, which is an unfortunate title, but maybe that has some.
Is it though?
I don't know. I think that's a really weird title. Well, let's save it. We're almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the event itself was cool. I mean, the interview. Did you watch the actual panel with Aisha Tyler and Matt Reeves, like the actual discussion before the trailer?
That's the one I need to watch for the Batman.
So it's interesting. He gives a couple interesting answers to some questions, like fan questions and everything. But my big problem with the event is that a lot of the interviews seem so surface level, and that's just I guess that's a problem I have with a lot of
it's
Comic-Con
DC's
panels.
own creation.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's not it's not fans asking the real hard hitting questions. It's like Aisha Tyler asking Matt Reeves. It's like, So what would you say is the darkest part about this movie? And Matt Reeves thinks for a second, but then almost like he's reading off a script, he's like, we really get to dive into the darkness of Gotham City. And it just, for some reason, it feels very like forced, but it's like you said, it's DC's property. It's a DC run event. They're not gonna leave room for, I don't know, Ben Affleck to do an interview and accidentally like say a racial slur or something.
Right.
That would happen. But
oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben.
But okay, so let's unless there's any other surface level stuff, let's just dive. We're gonna do it chronologically from the first thing, which kicked off. The first panel was Wonder Woman 1984. We had a panel with Patty Jenkins and Kristen Wiig and Gal Gadot and Pedro Pascal, and all the big names for the movie came out to chill. Chris Pine's there looking like a snack. Did you see him?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, dude.
Shit, dude, that beard.
Dude,
Chris Pine
is. I'm constantly at war. I know yours is Chris Evans, but I'm constantly at war with my favorite Hollywood Chris. And every time Chris Pine, I always kind of forget, and then he comes back up, and I'm like, dude, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's like, he interesting career that Chris Pine's had. Like he was Star Trek, and I thought he was gonna like blow up after that, but like he's
thoughts on him as Mr. Fantastic.
I could get down with that. That sounds pretty good. I don't really Fantastic Four are one of those things where I don't have a super nostalgic for, so I have a hard, like I never read the comics, so I don't really have an idea of who could play them well. It's just Chris Evans as Johnny Blaze or whatever, and that's the only
Storm.
Johnny Storm. His name's not Johnny Blaze. I thought it was
Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider.
That's right, Nick Cage, Ghost Rider. They need to bring him back. If Nick Cage is in the end credits to an MCU movie, I'd shit my pants.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
All right, so what did you think about the trailer? We got to see Cheetah for the first time.
Yeah, this cool trailer. It's not as good as the first trailer. I think the music from the first trailer was way cooler, and I love the tag at the end of it's just a trash can. It's classic. But this trailer is cool. I mean, we get to see a little bit more of, I guess, some plot. I love seeing all the stuff on Themyscira with her as a kid again. The reveal of the cheetah isn't not much of a reveal. It's so fast and blurry that I can't really get a good read on if it looks good. I don't know if they're not done with the visual effects or something, but
so far done for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, so far I guess it looks okay.
It was interesting.
I like her as a full-blown cheetah a lot more than her in like a cheetah print outfit that we see from that trailer.
You'd have to imagine.
I have a theory though.
Quick, right? Like they're not going to keep her in like cheetah clothes for a long time. That they're gonna. It's gonna be like. Yeah. I don't really even know the backstory of Cheetah. Is she like? I kind of want to by a radioactive cheetah.
No, I kind of don't want to tell you.
Okay.
If that's okay.
No, that's fine.
I would rather you experience it in '84 because it seems like they're doing a pretty accurate version of the George Perez cheetah. So.
Okay. I'm excited to see
I will say that I think Kristen Wiig is actually going to be pretty interesting as a villain. So we'll have to see.
I like her a lot. It was funny. Like
I'm more excited about Maxwell Lord though, with our guy
Pedro
Pascal. Yeah,
I like Pedro Pascal a lot. I like how they're not giving much away about that specific character. So setting him up for something cool. I also just like Pedro Pascal a lot. I think he's an extremely likable Hollywood personality.
Mando, baby.
Mando. It was funny. Like
sure.
After the Batman panel, I was like, John, we need to talk about this now and like set up a podcast. He one of your questions you asked me where you're like, how's Cheetah? Does she look terrible? And I was like, well, it's kind of hard to tell. She kind of moves really quickly and so yeah. But yeah, I thought the trailer was fine. I definitely think it was a few steps below that first one that came out a while back when the original release date was like, was it May or March or whatever?
Yeah, it was like May.
Yeah.
And then it was like July, and then now it's what, September 20th?
So it's currently slated for October 2nd, which
October 2nd. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, again, we're going to play the game on this episode of will it be delayed because of Rona again? Let's play a little game. Do you think Wonder Woman 84 hits that? Tenet's releasing next week in the U.S. I guess theaters are open here. So
I do think it'll be in theaters then, but I also think they'll release it on demand, and that's probably how I'm going to plan to see it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to the theater to see. Like the Tenet was the one where it's like I like Christopher Nolan movies so much that I would consider going to a theater to see Tenet, but like I've been checking showtimes and like looking at seat maps for it, and like they're blocking off seats in between groups to like help with social distancing, but I just don't. The social distancing aspect is fine, and that's the only thing theaters can really enforce. They can't enforce you to make sure you keep your mask on during the entirety of the movie,
right?
Especially if they're like encouraging the sale of concessions, which they still are, which I think is shocking. But
people got to get their popcorn.
Gotta get that movie theater popcorn, man. I mean, I miss it. It's like a drug.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely miss going, and I'd say one of these movies that we're going to talk about is the one that I'm like, man, I really hope theaters are open so I can go see this in a crowd.
I wonder what that one's going to be.
Black Adam.
Black Adam, baby. Dwayne The Rock Johnson looking like a cartoon in that fucking... All right, we'll get there.
Yep.
So next up was do you have any lingering thoughts about 84?
I have a theory.
Okay, tell me your theory.
I think Maxwell Lord has obtained through archaeological investigations the Philosopher's Stone, which is something that has popped up in DC. I think at least like some type of version of the Philosopher's Stone, and he has somehow been able to, because in that trailer he keeps being like, he's doing the Shia LaBeouf thing. Don't let your dreams stay dreams. Just do it. I think he's somehow found a way to mass produce a way to grant people's like almost like wishes, or to grant them an elixir of life for some way. And Kristen Wiig apparently wants to be an apex predator. And I think for Diana, I think that's how they bring back Steve Trevor.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's just my theory.
So you're leaning away from the original theory that I thought we talked about. My theory was that they're setting up Steve Trevor to be Martian Manhunter because why not?
Yeah, I just think
that's the case anymore.
I don't, because I don't think the Martian Manhunter is that charming. I don't know if he can impersonate Steve Trevor that well. So I think it's more of an apparition of Diana's mind, almost kind of like spoilers for Arkham Knight, kind of like the Joker.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Like to see like if they pull a twist like that, like. No one's been interacting with Steve Trevor except for Diana, and then you don't realize till the end that he's actually still dead.
Yeah, it's like Fight Club. Yeah,
pretty dark.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
See. Yeah, Batman Gotham Knights. So WB Montreal, the studio that did Arkham Origins way back in the day. They've years of teasers for this game. They've been working on this shit forever. Arkham Origins came out on PS3.
Yep. In like 2013.
Yeah, and so finally Gotham Knights has been announced. Batman's dead. They've confirmed that this game takes place in a separate universe or multiverse, or however you want to view it, to the Arkham series of games. Mm-hmm. They're calling it a separate timeline, quote unquote.
Is it in the same timeline as Arkham Origins?
No, because Arkham Origins is in the Arkham timeline.
Interesting. Okay.
This is a separate timeline to everything. And they say that it's basically Arkham Knights with an S. You take control of Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Red Hood. And they're saying that it's... So when the trailer first started, I was like, oh no. It's going to be like a fucking Destiny kind of game. Like, that's what I was worried about, was that... because
multiplayer.
Yeah, we'll get to Suicide Squad too, because that's coming up here in a bit. But like, the Arkham games are so fun because they're like a very narrative game, and in the trailer of the gameplay, you're seeing like XP points and like leveling up, and I'm like, oh no, is this going to be like a Destiny or a Division or a Borderlands, one of those kind of games where it's like, yeah, you can play it solo, but it's designed to be played online with a bunch of people. But they're saying that you can play it entirely solo, or you can play it with 2-player online co-op. And you can check out the gameplay trailer online. It's set to release in 2021 for the PlayStation 5, the Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. What'd you think about it, John? Are you excited about? Does this game wet your whistle?
It didn't until they did the Court of Owls thing at the end of the trailer.
Okay.
For me, like, I love Nightwing a lot. Like, I really like Dick Grayson, and I think Jason Todd is an underrated Batman character. But I mean, like, it's cool that there's, like, it's almost like GTA meets Batman, right? There's multiple playable characters. I wonder how they weave the story together that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can mod them up in different ways and stuff like that too. But I am curious to see how it goes. I always love a good story where it's like Batman's dead, Superman's dead, this person's dead. So you got to have the sidekicks kind of step up to the spotlight. But yeah, once they did that Court of Owls Talons thing at the end of the trailer, I was like, hell yeah, dude, that looks so terrifying.
Yeah,
that'll be
rad for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a really fun aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely play the game. I'm on board for any of the Arkham style games.
Same.
Either whether Montreal or Rocksteady has something to put out there. So
yeah, I'm slightly more into it, I guess. I know nothing about the Gotham Knights, like these, like I mean, obviously I know who Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Red Hood are, but I don't really like know them. I don't know the only real like Robin stories that I know are the ones that, you know, the famous ones like Death in the Family, the Arkham games proper. But I don't know. I really hope that it is completely like it's the same experience solo or 2-player, because I really want to. I mean, obviously I'll kick some ass with you as the Gotham Knights.
Who do you want to play as?
If you're taking Nightwing,
I'll let you take first pick.
I mean, Nightwing is. I like Nightwing a lot, but I would probably go old B. Gordon, Barbara Gordon, Batgirl.
Yeah.
I'm
wondering which Robin
it is.
If it's Tim Drake Robin, I might go with Robin, but if it's Damian, I might not. Not a big Damian Wayne fan. Tell your friends.
Look for that in 2021. Not the last video game that we have to talk about. Next up is Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they're the rebranding. They started out with the roll call trailer, where they they finally revealed each character in their outfit. It's kind of stylized. It looks like, you know, costume tests or screen tests that they just kind of turned into a trailer.
Yeah, definitely.
But there are a bunch of names on here. I'll read through a few of them if you want to stop me to talk about any of these people, because I have no idea who the fuck most of these characters are. Idris Elba.
I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. I don't either.
Okay, cool.
There's some of them that I do, but to be honest with you, most of these characters are pretty new to me as well. Some of them are James Gunn's own creation, so I think that's something we have to look out for. But yeah, like John Cena and Idris Elba's characters and like Pete Davidson, like I have not seen any of those characters before. I do hear that he's pulling from a 1970s run on the Suicide Squad. So I have not read it yet. Depending on if I like the movie or not, I might go back and do my own comic book research. But
sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us a quick run through.
I just want to say some of the interesting ones, but you said John Cena, Peacemaker, and then Idris Elba's Bloodsport. You don't know who either of those characters are?
Nope, I think they're from that 70s run. I've never read them before.
That's so fascinating, because Idris Elba is a huge name and John Cena is a huge name too, and you're bringing these guys in as like nobody characters almost, like just like very rarely unknown. It's so bizarre to me.
These are the ones that I know. Why don't we do this game instead?
Okay.
I know Mongo, that orange-looking lady from Justice League.
Mailing NG as Mongal.
Yep, from Justice League Unlimited is where I've seen that character before.
Okay.
I know Polka Dot Man, played by Dave DeSmalchin.
Love the look of this guy, dude.
Looks
this
so
is
great.
Awesome.
Right out of a comic book page, right out of the Batman animated series. So I love it.
I really hope. I also like that actor a lot. Like David DeSmalchin or whatever. He's a cool character actor. He's got a really interesting range, and I hope that he's not one of the ones that just like gets killed off early, because I hope that Polka Dot Man they use him to his full effect.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I know the Thinker, played by Peter Capaldi. He's like a Flash villain normally.
Okay.
Obviously, we know Captain Boomerang, Rick Flag, Amanda Waller, and Harley Quinn.
Right.
From the last movie, and also just because they're really popular Suicide Squad people. King Shark, I'm really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of any others that I know. I think that's it. Everyone else was pretty new to me.
What about Sean Gunn as this horrifying weasel?
Nope, never heard of him. He's like a really creepy version of Rocket Raccoon, is what I've heard.
Yeah, it's so funny that I want to know if that character is created by James Gunn, because it's almost like James Gunn was working on this movie when all the fallout was happening with him and Marvel before he got rehired. Mm-hmm. So it's just so funny that there's like a broke ass Rocket Raccoon in this movie.
Yeah.
Right at the time.
Is Dave Bautista the King Shark?
Dave Bautista is not on this like casting sheet, like
but
the
they also didn't
thing.
reveal who's playing the King Shark.
They said that a guy named Steve Agee is the mocap for King Shark, but the voice is not revealed yet. There's Taika Waititi's also in this movie.
Oh, maybe he's the King Shark.
To me, that would make sense. I don't know if.
Hey man, we're gonna go for a swim. You want to come?
I hope he sounds like that. He didn't sound like that in the Suicide Squad video game trailer.
I know.
But
what to see.
Yeah. So yeah, the Suicide Squad. Now that we have a little bit more, there's that behind the scenes video, and now there's this casting call thing. Do you have how are you feeling about the movie? Like, are you
definitely higher on it than the last one? I do think it's interesting that one of the few people they brought back over Will Smith was Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, right.
I wonder if Will Smith was just like, nah. He's just like, I don't want to.
That's my prediction. I think Will Smith pieced. I don't think that I don't think that Will Smith really. I don't think he loved the backlash of the movie. I don't think. I mean, he's a meme. They made Will Smith a meme because of that movie. Like, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? That's an internet meme now. So I think that he was burnt by that franchise. So I bet you don't even hear like a reference.
What if they kill him off at the beginning? That would be cool.
That would be interesting. That would be very, very interesting. Like he gets a brief cameo and dies.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be upset that they went the Jimmy Olsen route with him now. Kind of like Zack Snyder killed him off. So I doubt it, but it would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. For sure. All right. Yeah, I'm right with you. I
want to see the real trailer.
Exactly.
And then I'll let you know.
I want to see the tone that they're going for and what the movie actually looks like. The behind the scenes stuff looked really cool. I like that they're doing a lot of, like, it looks like they talk in the thing about it being like a Vietnam War kind of story. Like there's a lot of like, there's like tropical settings and like, it just looks more interesting than dark city in the middle of the night.
Yep, I love the idea of them being the opposite and just being like, we're going to be out in the daytime.
Yeah, right.
Every day. Who do you think the villain is? Have you heard the rumors?
I have no earthly idea. I figured, Amanda Waller's in it again. I figured she might have some shit be going on.
The rumors is that it's Starro the Conqueror. Do you know who that is?
No idea. Never
look him up when we get off this, but I'll give you a quick little synopsis of Starro the Conqueror is the first villain that the Justice League of America ever fought in the 60s. You're gonna love this. He's a giant starfish from outer space with a big red eye in the center, and his ability is mind control. And he creates he creates these little starfish that latch onto people's faces like an alien and aliens. It's like a face hugger, and then they are under Starro's control. So that's how he makes his armies, and he goes to different planets and he conquers them that way. And then he moves on to the next one. But since he's a starfish, he normally hangs out somewhere deep in the ocean while his minions go off and do the work. So that's where a lot of people are leaning towards, since there's this tropical setting. Maybe they're fighting Starro. And apparently there's like some concept art behind James Gunn if you watch that behind the scenes thing again. And it looks like you can see those red eyes from Starro the Conqueror. If that's the case, dude, James Gunn has the biggest balls in Hollywood, because that is such a funny, obscure villain, and the only person I would trust with handling it would be him. You
I
know?
mean,
If he
he's
takes
proven
the ego,
himself.
the living planet route, I think he could make this work pretty
Yeah.
easily too.
Yeah, he's proven himself. That's the thing, is that like there's a reason why James Gunn is such a beloved figure right now in Hollywood and in the comic book and pop culture aspect, especially because like he's proven that he can make really anything work. And I remember when Guardians of the Galaxy was first announced, people are like, "What? They're doing a Marvel movie about these guys?" Like no one knows who the Guardians are. Like there's a talking tree and a raccoon. Like how are they going to make this work? And then the movie comes out and it's like the best one.
Yep, it's the best
And
Marvel movie in my
and
opinion.
so yeah, it's definitely on my top five. But so I trust him implicitly. I think that the Suicide Squad is gonna be great. I hope.
Yeah.
I don't know. I trust James Gunn to do an entertaining movie. Whether it's a great film, we shall see. Next up on the panel, we got they talked about doing a Static Shock movie revival and Milestone Comics revival as well. Does this do anything for you, Static Shock?
It does. I like Static Shock a lot. It's a cool character. It's also, I think, an important time for more of a prevalent DC Comics Black American character.
Right.
And I would be excited to see what they do. I'm more excited about the comic revival than I am the possibility of a movie, but we'll see.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this character from when I was a kid. Like, didn't he have a television show or something?
He did. He had a cartoon.
Okay, so that's what I'm remembering this from. But I don't really have a strong attachment. I think it's a cool announcement for people that like it because it's one of those obscure things that I think that DC should keep going this route, like in the film aspect, like take obscure stuff, like and let Matt Reeves have his vision with the Batman and let him do a trilogy and make it its own thing. But like,
God, I'm so ready for that.
I know, man. But yeah, like bring Static Shock. Like, why not do Polka Dot Man? Why not like do stuff that because
DC has some weird characters.
Yeah.
And I say just be weird. Like just let it happen. I would love the idea of Static Shock having kind of like the television treatment that they're doing with like Doom Patrol and stuff like that. I think that could be really cool. If they do want to go with the movie, I think they should market it more towards younger audiences.
Okay.
Since he's a teenager anyway, and just make it like a Miles Morales type thing. Maybe you even do it like Into the Spider-Verse and it's animated. But I mean, that character is one of the influences. This has been brought up, I think, by Brian Bendis. That character is one of the influences for the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Of making a young black kid that black kids in America and the rest of the world, even up just other people of color, can look up to.
I didn't know that Static Shock predated.
Miles Morales. Early 2000s. Yeah, Miles was more like 2010, I think. So
really,
he hasn't even been around
that
long.
That new. That's wild.
Ultimate Universe.
Okay. So the Milestone Comics will be releasing classic issues in digital format starting September 2020. So you're going to jump into those?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Kevin Smith's friend, Mark Bernardin, I don't know if you listen to Fat Man Beyond the podcast or not, but he used to write Static for a little while. So he's pretty excited because I think he's going to get his old job back at DC. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm hoping he's involved because I think he's a great writer.
Mm-hmm. Well, next up, we got a big hitter. We got a big swinging over here, Jay.
Let's see.
Snyder Cut.
Yeah, buddy.
Teaser trailer and mini-series reveal. So Zack Snyder's long-fabled Snyder Cut of 2017's Justice League had its first official trailer. Snyder also announced that Justice League will debut in 4-hour-long chunks on HBO Max in 2021 and said that the whole thing will be eventually able to be viewed as an entire film. The project reportedly costs upwards of $30 million to produce. Snyder has confirmed there will be no reshoots with the original cast, using only previously shot footage. So 2 questions for you. The 4-hour miniseries style format, does this do anything for you? Like, are you more excited to watch this as a whole thing or in the 4-hour chunks?
I would rather watch it as a 4-hour movie.
I agree.
Because I am concerned that they're going to release it over 4 weeks.
That's what I'm concerned.
And I just don't care that much. I would rather just have it all at once that I can parse out on my own time.
Yeah.
So that's a little annoying to me, but I guarantee you that's how they're going to milk it. In which case, like, I'll be there for it. But unfortunately, that means that I can't just do a free trial of HBO Max, most likely, unless it does fit in perfectly into a month. So, but
I'll share you on my HBO.
I will be more interested to watch it as a 4-hour movie after it's been fully released, because that's how he intended it anyway. Regardless of what HBO is trying to do to milk their money's worth.
Yeah, I find.
What did you think of the? Yeah, go ahead.
I find it funny that the whole reason that there is a Snyder cut is because Zack Snyder kind of got, and now that have you heard all the allegations that Ray Fisher has been talking about, like the bad
official investigation.
Yeah, there's official investigation into the set of Justice League, because everyone like Ray Fisher especially talked about Joss Whedon being unprofessional and being kind of a dick, and it's funny
his career.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny.
I'm worried about what they're going to find out about Jeff Johns, because he's one of the 3 figures mentioned in the investigation. Because they just said that Jeff Johns and John Berg, who were DC execs at the time, enabled Joss Whedon so they could all get their bonuses before the AT&T acquisition merger.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that Jeff Johns might get canceled, because I do like his art. It's always separating the art from the artist, and he's about to start his 3 Jokers miniseries for the Black Label on DC that actually came out today, which I can't wait to read. But yeah, I am interested to see what they find out, because Joss Whedon's already kind of canceled anyway, and I think he might be done after this.
We'll see. Yeah. But anyway, long walk for a short drink of water. It's funny to me that the whole reason that the Snyder Cut exists is that there was like all of this trouble with the Justice League, and like Zack Snyder kind of got put down by the studio. Like, they're like, no, you don't want it. We don't want it to be 4 hours. We want it to come in under 2 hours. No, we don't want this to happen. We got to do this. We want Superman in the trailer. You got to put Superman's symbol in the poster. It's like, give him a CGI upper lip, all this stuff to jerk around Zack Snyder. And I kind of feel like this 4-hour part thing is HBO kind of screwing Zack Snyder, because there's literally no reason that they wouldn't just release it as a 4-hour film, because people are going to buy exactly what you said, 1 month of HBO, watch the movie, stick around for a couple things, maybe watch some Veep, maybe watch some, South Park, whatever. And
Lovecraft Country.
I've
really
heard
good.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then they're going to bounce. But making it four 1-hour chunks and releasing them weekly means that goes longer than a month, which means you're going to have to at least renew your subscription for 2 months, and that's like. So I think that this is 100% on HBO's side and not Zack Snyder's side, and I think it's kind of. I mean, it's not funny because it's kind of shitty, but like it's just ironic.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm excited to see it. The trailer itself was. I love how he just kind of did a big old fuck you by using the Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen.
It's just so self-indulgent, man. Like when that Hallelujah started playing, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing that you saw besides the black suit?
Besides the black suit, I don't know. I thought the shot of Cyborg's dad kind of getting incinerated by the thing was I'm excited for more of that story, because Cyborg
sucked
is so half-assed
in the Justice League. Yeah.
I'm also excited to see if they can maybe make me like Barry Allen more.
I think they might, dude. And I think like now that you need to talk about this a little bit too, but now that we know that Ben Affleck's coming back for the Flash movie, I think Snyder's version is actually going to make that relationship between him and Bruce Wayne a little bit more likable than it was in the Justice League.
I hope so, because I really
to see.
dislike Ezra Miller as the Flash.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. My favorite part of the trailer was he's never fought us. Us united.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool.
It was cool to watch this trailer too and see pre alcoholic meltdown Ben Affleck. You know what I mean? Because like he just looks
Yeah.
BVS fit in the whole trailer, and it's very clear to see when you watch the actual Justice League that we saw 2 years ago that he was really bloated. So
still,
dude.
they still wardrobed him into the same like vest and suit combo, so it looks like he's just like popping out of it. Like literally, the buttons are flying off, and it's shitty, man. Like I also really like the shot of Black Suit Superman in the field with holding Lois and his mom, because that seems someone on Twitter. It's so funny. Someone on Twitter just posted that image right next to the image of Superman looking at Lois in the field from the Joss Whedon Justice League, and it's just like that stupid, goofy smile and the fake upper lip, and it's like they look like two completely different things next to each other. So.
This movie is going to be so different. I mean, we got to see Darkseid, which it looks okay.
He looks like a CG monster.
He does. He looks kind of like what they wound up having with Steppenwolf, almost a little bit.
A little bit.
Steppenwolf looks better. He looks like the BVS Ultimate Cut version, and we get to see Desaad. So I'm curious to see how the Apocalypse guys actually look when the movie comes out. But because Darkseid and Desaad are only going to be in that history lesson, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that sequence is going to be like a half hour. So.
Yeah,
we'll see, man. That first episode is going to be like the extended cut of Fellowship of the Ring, essentially.
Yeah. Oh boy. I'm also. I know we're lingering on this one, but it's Justice League. I just think it's so frustrating that it's 2021. Like, what is Zack Snyder doing? Yeah. What is Zack Snyder doing? We're all in quarantine. We're supposed to be. We're supposed to be locked down. Zack Snyder's not attached to any major motion picture projects as far as I know. Why not motivate him to just edit this whole thing for the next 2 months, release it this holiday? Like, I don't know, 2021, and them not even saying like spring 2021, summer 20, like they're not even putting a date on it. Yeah, it's really frustrating to me. I want to stop seeing headlines about this and just watch it.
Yeah.
So that's my only other frustration. I wonder if they're trying to time it like alongside. When does the Batman come out? They just say 2021?
I think the Batman's October 2021.
So maybe they're trying to time it around that to like be like, oh, we've got a DC movie in the theater, and guess what? You can also subscribe to HBO Now and watch the Justice League at home. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping it's early.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, Black Adam story details and teaser trailers revealed. There's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gives his voice in a couple animated things, but you don't actually see any footage. This movie probably hasn't
filmed anything yet.
Yeah, exactly.
They haven't filmed anything yet. They're pretty accurate so far on the backstory for Black Adam, so that's pretty cool. I'm excited for like the Kahndaq storyline where he becomes enslaved initially. I hope that's a big chunk of the beginning of the film.
Right.
And then when they jump 5,000 years in the future to whatever time he's going to be breaking out, I love that they were like, he's going to be fighting some of the Justice Society of America, because the JSA is one of my favorite superhero teams in comic books, and they've never gotten their correct treatment on a screen before, in my opinion. I'm stoked, dude. Hawkman, Dr. Fate, I think this is Cyclone. Yeah. So Dr. Fate especially, I'm very excited for. So hopefully it's pretty cool. And it sounds like Superman's supposed to be in it too, is the rumor. So
I know nothing about Black Adam. I like Dwayne Johnson.
He's just the bad version of Shazam.
Yeah. Well, that's what I could gather. But at the same time, I was kind of shocked to see the trailer. It looks like it's set in like ancient Egypt.
Yeah, that's Kahndaq. It's in like the Middle East.
Okay.
So
I had like no idea that.
Let me give you the brief synopsis. Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. Black Adam was the wizard Shazam's first choice as his protector of the world.
Okay.
And then Black Adam abuses the power. So then he goes out and he seeks out Billy Batson. So that's how they set that up.
Interesting.
Yep.
Does he time travel?
No.
No. Okay. So this isn't like ancient times. It's just like, it looks like it's an old world country.
No, so it is. He will be. The beginning will be ancient time. He gets his powers from the wizard Shazam, who's
So
like
he just
immortal.
doesn't. So he just
And
doesn't.
then he gets enslaved and entombed, essentially like Apocalypse in the X-Men franchise. And then he gets woken up a couple years later.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the comics, he gets waken up by Dr. Sivana, actually, from the last movie.
Well, I'm excited about this. December 22nd, 2021 is when it's slated for.
That's going to be 2022.
You bet your ass.
Okay, next.
A lot of stuff's going to get pushed, but Rocksteady Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, next gen only co-op game. Rocksteady Studios primary developer of the Batman Arkham games. That's the main series: Arkham Asylum, City, and Origin, or Knight. Yeah, Arkham Knight. Sorry, there's a lot of Arkhams. They revealed their long-awaited next game, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, with a trailer and some brief details. In Kill the Justice League, players take control of Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark, who are tasked with taking down a mind-controlled Justice League, which it looks like it's that guy, Brainiac. Yeah. Again, like Gotham Knights, they are saying it can be played solo or up to 4 players cooperatively. If you're playing single player with AI-controlled teammates, you'll be able to switch between the different characters at will. I thought it was pretty crazy that it's slated for release in 2022. And they gave the PS5 logo, the Xbox Series X logo, and the PC logo, which means that Rocksteady been working on this game for a long time, and it's not even coming out for another 2 years.
I know. It's crazy.
Really, I mean, it's crazy. It's super duper sad because I love the Arkham games so much, and I wanted Rocksteady to I was hoping that this would be like a launch game for the PS5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, there's no gameplay in the trailer. The game is probably still, they're still working out. They're probably not going to show anything until probably next year about gameplay. But what did you think about the tone of the trailer?
I like it. It's cool. It reminds me a lot of a comic book Suicide Squad as opposed to what we've seen from the film.
Right.
I think it's interesting that there's the 4 playable characters, and there's also 4 playable characters for Gotham Knights. I think that's pretty funny.
Really bizarre. And these 2 teams are just working on these games at the same time.
Yeah, it's a very convenient
it's
and
bizarre.
interesting approach. Yeah.
And you would have to imagine that they're talking to each other, especially industry. They're in the industry. They must know what they're working, other teams are working on.
Yeah.
What
I want to know is this Harley Quinn the same as the Arkham series Harley Quinn, or is this also a separate timeline story?
So as far as I can tell, it's in the same universe.
Okay. So does that mean we're going to get a Kevin Conroy Batman, or is this after Arkham Knight?
I don't know.
Deadshot was in Arkham Origins, right? So Rocksteady has not actually worked on Deadshot at all.
Yeah. So here's an article from Screen Rant. Sorry for the dead air. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League seemingly takes place sometime after the end of Batman Arkham Knight. Harley Quinn is the most obvious connection here, as during the events of Arkham Knight, she was left locked up by Batman, but sports a much different look in Suicide Squad. During the game's fandom panel, Sefton Hill, creator-director at Rocksteady, commented on how Suicide Squad will connect to Arkham, saying, quote, "This is a continuation of the Arkhamverse, so a lot of the threads and storylines you're going to see come to fruition in this game," end quote. They haven't said which characters and storylines might be continuing, but I would have to imagine that you're going to get Mark Hamill Joker and you're going to get Kevin Conroy Batman. I mean, I think that's a pretty safe guess to me.
Well, that's exciting to me then.
Yeah, me too.
Get a little bit more of that universe for sure.
Yeah, and I like that universe's Harley Quinn a lot. I think she's fun. Immediately,
she's funny.
Yeah, in that 5-minute trailer, you get more character in that 5 minutes than you do in the entire Suicide Squad movie. And I like the humor a lot. The end of the trailer got actually an audible laugh for me, not just a smile or a smirk.
With Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, where he's like, "Who are we supposed to kill?" or whatever, and Shark points at Superman. That shit had me laughing out loud.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm.
So which boss fight is going to be the hardest, Superman or Flash?
Oh, it's easily going to be. They're going to build this up that Superman or Batman is the final boss fight.
I think it's gonna be Batman. I think that's how cool would that be if you're playing this whole game and then the person that you have to fight at the end is the other Rocksteady playable character that you played for a decade.
Yeah, I think. I mean, so this game, it's interesting. Like we're talking about the similarities between this and Gotham Knights. Like I think the Suicide Squad game is so much more immediately appealing in its concept. Like, even though the characters are more obscure, like most people know Robin and Batgirl and stuff like that. But it's like, just the concept of hunting down and killing the Justice League. Like, I doubt that. Also, I don't know how you feel about this, but I doubt you're going to be killing the Justice League.
Nah.
Than you are just like killing like the Brainiac controlled parts, and then and then you have to like. I bet like I wouldn't be surprised if at the very end like you get control of the not the Suicide Squad members but Justice League characters as you fight Brainiac.
Yep, that wouldn't. I think the Suicide Squad and the Justice League will team up at the end for Brainiac as well. I think that's a pretty safe bet. In which case, I can't wait to get behind the sticks of Arkham Batman again.
Oh baby,
triangle, double tap, square. Quick battering. Double tap X, jump over them, kick them
Jon
from behind.
Parker's in the Arkham Knight Platinum Club, everybody. It's an exclusive club. They serve only the finest Gotham whiskey. All right. Do you have anything else about Rocksteady?
No.
All right. It's 1:54. How are you doing on time?
We're good.
We're good?
More minutes. Yeah.
All right, cool. So last but certainly not least, the final DC Fandome panel rounded out with Matt Reeves and Aisha Tyler talking about the Batman.
We get the Suicide Squad and the Batman and the Ohio State University.
I wonder if they're going to keep going with this, if it's going to be called
the Man of Steel, the Flashpoint, the Green Lantern. It's like we get it.
The Polka Dot Man.
Dude, give him his own movie.
Do it, you cowards. Do it, DC.
Yeah. Him and Condiment King. That'd be great.
And
Condiment King played by Chris Hemsworth. Yeah.
But yeah, so they talked for a little bit. They kind of did like a back and forth, answered some questions about his inspiration for the movie. He cited movies like Chinatown and some darker flicks, talking about like how he wants it to be a very like a very gritty, crime inspired, visceral, yeah. And then they ended the entire stream by showing us the first trailer for the Batman, and it's completely confirmed, by the way. I don't know if we've actually finished this over text, but you get Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, and you also see Colin Farrell as the Penguin. And that's him. He's just wearing prosthetics, and he looks unrecognizable.
Yeah, dude. And there's that part of the trailer where he's like, "This guy's crazy." Like his voice is even like very interesting too. But I'm excited, dude. This trailer was so cool. It's so dark. it's like you didn't think that they could get darker than The Dark Knight, but this looks pretty haunting. I mean, that opening with just the guy getting his face duct taped is crazy. I love the choice of using Nirvana. I thought that was awesome in the trailer for that backdrop song for sure.
Yeah. I love the trailer. Take note, Hollywood, by the way. This is a good trailer. It's like just around that 2-minute mark. You get a little bit of action, but it's mostly tone. You get to see kind of like what they're going for. Nothing extraneous. You get to see, and I was so worried that they were going to have like this entire trailer, because the very first beginning part of the trailer is you get the duct tape, which is cool, like that sound and in the cutting of the logos. But you don't see Batman until like 30-45 seconds in, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna be the money shot, and we're only gonna see like the chest up, and it's gonna be nothing. But you get to see basically full body Batman
a couple times.
Yeah, and you get to see him like in combat doing stuff, and it gives you an idea of what you're gonna see in this movie. And I don't know, man. This sold me immediately on the
Yeah.
tone and the vibe of the movie, and um,
Yeah, dude, I'm in. I
yeah.
was skeptical of Rob Pat, and then I saw what he would do to me if I ever told him he wouldn't be a good Batman, which is he would just literally beat me until I was
Right.
almost dead.
Yeah,
Um,
he looks great. His physical performance is awesome. Like I love the way. I hope that that's how the rest of the action in the movie is. But like that
Steady
single,
cam,
yeah,
just beating the crap out of somebody.
perfect, dude. And after the Batman, after Fandome, actually, I was in like a real Batman kind of mood, and so I rewatched the Nolan trilogy,
All of them.
all of them, yeah, in the last
Oh my
week. And
goodness! Wow,
I was up until like 2 a.m. the other night.
dude, that's awesome.
I watched Dark Knight, and then I was like, run it back, baby, let's go Rises. And I just
Dude, those movies are so good though.
yeah, they slap. And but the thing is that watching the Batman trailer and then immediately watching Batman Begins, like the fight with like the League of Shadows in the very beginning, it's like so jumpy and the camera's shaking all over the place. And I was like, oh, I forgot that like even Chris Nolan, a great director, was still like in this time frame, still doing like the shaky cam stuff, you know?
Yeah,
It gets better as the movies go along. Like the action becomes clearer to see as the movies go on. But I'm so stoked. I love the Paul Dano's voice throughout the trailer as the Riddler. Like he sounds so menacing. Um, very, very excited. I was sad we didn't get to see any Circus as Alfred.
yeah, you hear him though.
Yeah, you get his voice and you become a celebrity.
Yeah, I'm very hyped about it, dude. I think Catwoman looks interesting. She's kind of like I mean, this is the second year of him as Batman, which was confirmed by Matt Reeves. So he's still trying to figure the kinks out a little bit, right? So this is a very early Catwoman. Penguin's obviously probably more of just a mob boss at this point.
Right.
He's probably not even called the Penguin yet. I think it's a very interesting idea that, like, this could be the first couple times that Batman runs into these criminals, nobody's found their footing yet, right? So like the Riddler he's definitely probably not even going to be wearing question marks, which I like.
No way.
You know?
No. I would wager a guess that
Penguin's probably not going to be wearing top hats or anything like that. Like I think they're just going very gritty, kind of like Nolan, but in a way that still is a little bit more comic booky, I think. But please, please, please do not blow your load on the Joker yet in this first one. I really want them to build towards that, especially if this is a trilogy. I think he can either show up in the second one or you wait till the last one. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's my hope, man, is that we've said it. I mean, if you're a fan of Radiovania, you've heard us talk forever. Like Matt Reeves, I haven't seen all of his work, but what he did with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for Planet of the Apes, those are two of the most underrated movies of the last decade, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're awesome. They're so good, and the reason why they're so good is that they play into each other so well. Like that story and the way that they develop those characters in the world. And my hope is that Matt Reeves takes that same kind of concept and brings it into the Batman, because I want to see, like even in Batman Begins, like the first Nolan movie, the first Nolan Batman movie, like there's the Joker tease at the end, but even it's just a little tease. And you know, I was watching a documentary about the making of the Dark Knight trilogy, and they were talking about how it's like Christopher Nolan wanted to make sure that if Batman Begins didn't end up getting a sequel, that it felt like it could be wrapped up nice and tight at the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I hope that that's the same thing here, but I also think that, you know, they're putting a lot of faith into Reeves, and I think that DC is putting a lot with this Fandome event. They're putting a lot of faith in the future of these properties, and I really, really hope that they just let him loose, because I want to see him develop these ideas and these characters over the course of 3 movies and like let them grow and let it marinate for a while, because yeah, like you said, I don't want to see them blow their load on everything in the very first movie. And I think that that's part of the reason why they're doing fucking the Penguin and the Riddler. Like
I think the Penguin is going to be kind of like Scarecrow in the Nolan verse, where he's in all 3 of them, but he's never really much of a main villain, you know?
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if he was just kind of like a background player, because that's what the Penguin is in the comics. Like
Right.
Yeah, he's a quote unquote supervillain, but really he's just kind of like a Gotham businessman that Batman occasionally will have to fight. You know, if they treat him like they do in the Arkham games, I would be pretty happy with that. And I like Colin Farrell a lot. So
for sure, yeah. And then the other wild card too is, I forgot to mention that we also didn't see in the trailer, is John Turturro is playing Carmine Falcone.
Yep.
I love Turturro. I love the character of Falcone. I also can see him being in all three and being kind of like that backdrop crime figure. You know, I
think him and Cobblepot will be at war. Like it's a crime war. That's always a big part. Is like two warring
disrespect
families.
my family.
Yeah, it's like Godfather, right? So it's like the Italias and the Corleones.
Right.
I think it's the Cobblepots versus the Falcones. That's always like a big rivalry in Batman comics. And I think it'd be cool if there's this turf war that's going on, right? And that's what Batman's been mostly dealing with, maybe at the beginning of the film. And then, like, all of a sudden, this guy this Zodiac killer essentially starts wiping people out, and it's Paul Dano's Riddler.
Yeah.
Maybe the way they introduce Joker is the right way, where he's the Red Hood initially, and then maybe he falls in a vat of acid in the second movie or something, or maybe even by the end of this one. He's part of the turf war.
And I had a flash, if you will, like a heat stroke while I was watching this trailer for the third or fourth time, as I was like kind of combing through it, looking for the details and stuff. And I realized I made a comment to myself that this movie, like just in the way that it looks, like the way that it's shot, reminds me a lot of Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Mm-hmm. And it reminds me of just the way that movie is very like it's grounded. I mean, they use a lot of like digital effects, but it's also just like people are dressed in real clothes. Like Batman's costume doesn't necessarily look futuristic. It just kind of like, and he's driving a car that's got like, it's like a modified old beat up piece of shit that he's modified into like a rocket. It looks like, it looks grungy. His Batcave is like a basement, like a cave, like it's just like computers and wires everywhere. It looks very broke ass, kind of like in a cool way.
Mm-hmm. He's not fully established yet.
Exactly. So I think that they could. I mean, could it be possible, John Swansong Parker, that at the end of Matt Reeves' The Batman, there is a certain Joaquin Phoenix who walks into frame, and we see like, and that could be like the cliffhanger.
It's possible.
I think
it's definitely possible. Really cool. It could be really cool. But it's the same criticism that I have from the Joker, which is that Joaquin Phoenix Joker would not stand a chance against Batman. He's just kind of bumbles his way through everything. So unless he becomes more of an established crime boss, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker is more of like a sympathetic, crazy madman versus like the Joker from The Dark Knight, who's like a criminal mastermind, right? Who just fools everybody. I just don't think the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, if he ever had to fist fight with Rob Pat, he would get the same treatment as that guy in the subway station, you know, like. Yeah,
we've talked about this. We've talked about that at length, but the thing is that like the Joker in The Dark Knight is like he's an anarchist, but he's also like, like you said, he's kind of like a criminal mastermind. Like he knows how to play these like mob boss guys, but I think it could be interesting to play up the anarchy side of the Joker. Like he's inspiring fear. Yeah, he's a terrorist. He's got henchmen to do all the thinking for him. He's like, he bumbles his way through things, but that's kind of like, you know, he makes his own luck, kind of like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like he doesn't really, you know, he just survives. He's like a cockroach.
But here's the thing. He's survives. Like, so Joker takes place in 1980, and he's probably like 40 in that movie. So you flash forward 20 years to when Bruce Wayne's just before he's 30, because we see the death of the Waynes in the Joker movie. That means that the Joker's 60.
You can do it.
You could do it. It would be. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna happen. No.
There could also be just some suspension of disbelief stuff. If Joaquin Phoenix shows up and he's not. Yeah, I definitely think so too. But I do think that of all the connections, like if the Batman was connected to anything, it would be that, and it makes so much sense to me. Like
maybe Joaquin Phoenix inspires the real Joker.
Yeah, or again, like my theory about the Joker, about like the movie Joker, is that the end of it is supposed to be like not that he specifically is the Joker, but that anybody could be, because he's got this
interesting
mob of people. And so I think it could be really, really cool if like...
So maybe we see him in Arkham.
Yeah, maybe.
But they only ever refer to him as Arthur Fleck, not the Joker.
Right.
Necessarily.
And
be like, this guy started it all. Maybe like Jeffrey Wright's like, this is where it all started. It's
like, we got to go talk to this guy.
Speaking of which, dude, Jeffrey Wright, how come no one ever thought of him as Jim Gordon before this? Because that is
great.
So good.
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna give Oldman a run for his money.
Yeah. And I think it's fascinating too, like Matt Reeves directed the Planet of the Apes movies. In Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, what's his name? Jim Gordon is in that movie too.
Gary Oldman. Yeah.
Gary Oldman's in that. Thank you. Yeah, Gary Oldman is in that movie as like kind of like the pseudo-human villain. And I was thinking like, man, they should just run it back, make Gary Oldman Jim Gordon again. But I think that Jeffrey Wright looks great. He sounds great.
Yeah.
Very, very excited. I think that there's is there any criticism you have about this trailer? Because I have one small criticism.
No, I don't have any criticisms. I'm still pretty open to what we see.
Okay. The only criticism that I have is in the shot where right before the Batman beat up scene, like the thugs with the face paint that we're not sure if they're Joker thugs. What are they? Face paint thugs?
It could just be thugs, dude.
Just thugs.
Like,
yeah. My one complaint is in that shot where the guy's like, "Who are you supposed to be?" There's one of the henchmen next to him is like filming this thing with his iPhone.
Yeah. It's
really weird and very distracting, and I'm like, God.
That's what would happen though if you saw Batman in real life, right?
But if you're a thug, you'd have to imagine that and Batman's been around for 2 years, like you have to imagine that
That's what I like about that scene though, is that thugs aren't scared enough of him yet. You know what I mean? Like he's not fully established. Not everyone has had a run-in with the Batman. Like in Dark Knight, in that opening sequence, there's the guy doing a drug deal and they see the bat signal. He's like, nah, not tonight. I don't like this night. You know, like people aren't afraid of him yet. That's why this guy literally walks up to him and then gets his ass kicked, right? So it's...
Sure. I guess it makes sense.
I love young Batman. I'm very curious to see what he's going to go through to turn him into the world's greatest detective.
To turn him into Ben Affleck.
Literally.
Give me that 4-cup bourbon pour, baby.
Oh boy.
Do you think that scene's in Justice League Snyder Cut?
No, that's a Justice League scene.
Gotta be, yeah.
Gotta be.
All right. Well, is there anything left unsaid about DC Fandome? Did we cover every last inch of this one? Yeah,
I think we're good. I think the only thing is that, kind of like we teased, Ben Affleck is going to be in The Flash.
Yeah,
and so is Michael Keaton. So they're definitely doing multiverse, and I'm just fingers crossed. Give me CGI Adam West, give me Christian Bale, give me George Clooney. Just get everybody back that's played Batman that you can, because that would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that I'm okay with this idea. Like I have no. Again, like I said, I hope that the Justice League Snyder Cut thing makes me like Ezra Miller's Flash more, because I just have no interest in seeing Ezra Miller's like a solo film from that dude. Yeah. But they hooked me with the Michael Keaton and the stuff. Like I think that that's a great idea, and I think and Ben Affleck, and I think it's a great way to wrap up that multiverse, and start fresh.
Yep.
And like maybe write some characters out of the picture, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know. I'm curious about this movie more as a utility than an actual film.
Yes, exactly.
Sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Do we have any idea when Flashpoint's like even happening? Like they haven't started production on that.
I'm gonna say 2022 as well.
Let's see. Flashpoint movie release date. June 2nd, 2022 is what it's currently slated for.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a while. We got a long while.
We got some time for them to change it and just have it called. It could just be the multiverse, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. They could just call it, what is it? Virtual Rickality. Be like, why not? Screw it.
Oh, man.
Okay. Well, John, thank you for joining me on this mini episode about DC Fandome. I'm definitely excited about a lot of these announcements. A good note to end on is I think that DC and Warner Brothers are making some good moves. I don't think they've made all the right moves, but I think they're making some good moves to restore some good public faith. Do you agree?
I agree.
And
climbing out of the rubble.
Slowly but surely, yeah. Yep. And we'll see what happens in the rest of the year and next year. The next up, if you guys... So Jon Parker and I are actually... we're going on a road trip to an undisclosed destination.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
In a few weeks. And if I believe what we're going to do is I think we're still planning on possibly banging out multiple DC reviews while we're on our trip.
Yeah.
So
in the car.
Yeah, in the car. So it's going to be like that classic Lehigh episode if you want to go back to the archives.
Mm-hmm.
You can look forward to that. We're going to be, if you want to watch along with us, the next films to watch are Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey.
Yep.
And so get caught up on those if you want to watch along with us. But you can follow me at Zacatello. You can follow the show at Radiovania, radiovaniashow@gmail.com for all of your questions, comments, concerns about DC and Ben Affleck's waistline. You can also
we're so mean to him.
No, we love them. It's like he's our buddy. You know, you talk shit because we're friends. You're close.
Yeah, exactly. Holden McNeil.
Yep. And Holden McNeil, man, what a film! Chasing Amy, what a film.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you for listening. We'll see you guys soon with some more DCEU and review. And yeah. Do you have any? What's your Batman quote of the day to let us go on?
Ooh, I don't know, man. Batman quotes. There's so many good ones. There's so many good ones. You want to get nuts, Jack? Come on, just get nuts.
I thought maybe you were gonna go with the "Eye of a Mind makes a moopie" or whatever you said.
Eye of a Mind makes a moopie. I hope Jack Nicholson is in that Flash movie.
Oh, I
hope to God.
So awesome. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.